You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live somewhere in the universe. I am just a figment of your imagination. You are the only point of consciousness you can truly be aware of. Keep that in the back of your mind. It might help you solve a few problems. Yes, you're the one. Isn't that cool? Lots of really awesome questions and comments from people that are right up the exact road that we've been working so diligently to expose. And for that, I just love watching people stepping into their power. These simple little things that we talk about every single day, they are mind-numbingly simple, thus why they are so difficult to believe for especially the physical ego. It's kind of a all-worldly, doesn't really get the spiritual thing, right? So don't pay attention to it. It's kind of a waste of time, actually. I used to waste a lot of time with it, but I have to say, just based on the number of texts and whatnot through Facebook and Skype, that all the right questions are being asked from the perspective. I can't say the right perspective, and when I say right questions, the ones that really, really make sense to me as to where someone is and understanding that this entire system is gutted and powerless. Always was. Isn't that interesting? The only way that anyone can have their control taken over is if you say, hey, yeah, here's the wheel, knock yourself out. And if that wheel that you hand over to the car, let someone else drive for you in the system, ends up in a wreck, whose fault is it? So this is about taking back the command of your own helm, your own mind, if you will. And that takes a little bit of practice, you know. That's the thing about the ego. The ego wants the drive-through truth. It wants the drive-through answer. I want my, order of fries or chips or whatever in 30 seconds or less, or I'm going to be leaning on the horn getting all pissed off at you. And that is the one thing I think, well, myself anyway, and many of us have had to contend with to get to the point of just breathe, when you find something out that is so profound and so very real, you just want to see the effects immediately, right? It takes a bit of practice to get there, but make no mistake about it. Once you get your head in this zone, the effects show up rather quickly. I mean, if you can handle sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, maybe a day or two, you'd be fine. Some of these beautiful truth meals take a little longer to cook and, of course, longer to sit down and eat and digest. A few references from people regarding court stuff and whatever. And again, coming from the right perspectives, as far as I can tell. The simple truth is that with a legal name, your consent to be it doesn't matter how much paper it's on. It was all done in fraud and deception. It's useless. Okay? It is not a contract. What makes it a contract is you and me. If we agree to it, that's what makes it a contract. So it's basically, if you saw a piece of paper that said you're going to hand over everything in your universe, all of your God-created powers, everything you ever create, just hand it over to something or someone else. Just sign here. Would you sign? Of course not, but you did. You didn't know you were, but that's the whole problem. A contract is not a contract unless there is full agreement on both sides. And I'm talking in an ethereal sense. Excuse me. If someone goes out of their way to screw somebody over, which is what the system has done, a beautiful game. If that was the intent, where you were told that it wasn't, well, that's just, there's no contract there. We're here to play games, right? So if we're not playing games on a fair and equal footing, there is no contract. And it really is as simple as stepping outside of that box. No name, no game. And that is the mind number that most people are starting to get now. I can't say most people don't get, but most people are starting to get it. And based on what I've been seeing over the last day or so, it's just been awesome. Now, I did want to do a little continuation from last night, as I always like to do, but I wanted to really start carrying these points through. I did a full breakdown on the latest essay called Babylon is Fallen. I did that on Saturday night, which will be, well, it's April 20th. Here, I believe it was. What's the date today? I don't even look at this stuff. It's 22nd, of course, Magic Days. You gotta love this. But anyway, Saturday, no, it would 19th, I guess. Anyway, it was Saturday night, and I did a full breakdown on Babylon has Fallen. For anyone that has any real questions, RE the system, I think that pretty much covers it. The Babylon has Fallen is the literal culmination, and it's not as detailed as it could be. Really, it was just about getting the concepts, a summation of the concepts to people that can get them on a very easy level. I wanted to write something that wasn't so far out of people's reality. The toughest reality that people have to accept is the level of duping that we've all experienced. Get over it. The ego just wants to keep fighting, right? You'll see that playing out in things like Freemen on the Land and sovereign citizen movements and whatnot. Seeking vengeance. Gimmies, and that in and of itself is the trap of traps, because it keeps you in the snake eating its tail cycle. How did I describe it yesterday? I've used this allegory many times. Let's say a group of us are sitting down at the table, and I ask everyone, do you want to play Monopoly? And everyone says, yeah, sure, let's play. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to take care of being the banker. I'm going to take care of who gets what game piece. I'm going to take care of all the little houses and hotels. I'm going to take care of all the property, and I'm going to control the dice as far as how far you're going to be able to move, and I will choose at random, whenever I feel like it, who goes to jail and who doesn't. And if at any point during the game someone is unhappy, I'm just going to change the rules to suit myself. Who wants to play? That's your system, in a nutshell. Time to take your game piece off the board, don't you think? I guess the new coined word of late is, are you a nameaholic? If you are, it's time to get off that, you know. And that's basically what humanity is. We're just a bunch of nameaholics thinking that we were a name, and we're not. And one of the other things I did want to cover today as well is what's the best way to put this? The drip-by-drip way that mankind has been lulled into this state of full control, which, of course, is now returning to us with this awareness. I talked about, last night I was talking about, parents or, parents that have children, say in a hospital, and refusing to register the child, and moms and babies being held until that is taken care of, whether that's in a hospital or in a house or wherever, it doesn't matter. And for me, that looking at that, I'm watching them going, well, there's no way you're gonna be able to do that until you set yourself free by removing yourself from the name, because what was overlooked during all of this, and I watched it and just like, guys, come on, you got to see what's going on here, please. One, if you go into a hospital or a house or whatever, if it's got a registered address, there's your Universal Postal Union address, there's the registrations of names, there's all of this. If the parents are connected to all of this, well, they're slaves, and they have no say in the matter. It's like someone going in to use a, quote, state hospital, unquote. That's already, you've surrendered to the ward, if you will, the ward of Admiralty. That's why they call them hospital wards and prison wards. And it's really a simple thing when you see it. Mom and dad both being registered, having carried birth certificates. Now, this has been going on for quite a while. But really, humanity, in terms of birth certificates, hasn't really been completely blanketed until the last, 60, 70, 80 years kind of thing, where some people were told to register, and of course it started to become a habit where everyone thought that they had to. So that was a very, very lulled sense of false security. Oh, well, everyone's registering their children, everyone's registering this, that, and the other. Where the simple truth of the matter is, once something is registered, you have completely given up all rights to it. Completely. By consent. Ignorant consent. So that's where the problem of ignorance of the law is not a defense of it. This is why you have to get out of that state of ignorance. Because once you're out of the state of ignorance, you see it for the fraud that it is, and then you call out the fraud. And this is what you do on a universal level. This is what you do on a spiritual level. This is not about filing paperwork. See, for me, I used to do that all the time. And I've watched it. I've been party to it and part of it. And in my own evolution, what I started to watch, excuse me, was the layer by layer of the system getting peeled back, right? So where was I going here? I just wanted to center this. Anyway, if you're part of the system, you cannot make claims against the system until you set yourself free. And that what you do for yourself, you're doing for all. This is why I tell people to focus on solving yourself, get yourself sorted out, remove that ignorance from yourself. And in that process, all of the people that, your loved ones, for lack of a better way to put it, by default, and your connections to them, the freer you get, that goes down those connection lines. This is why it's important, and only important, that you take care of sorting yourself out. Because the more you sort yourself out, the more everything else around you gets sorted out. So anyway, let's get this table open up here, and I would like to address any questions to make this a bit easier for people to get. I got to tell you though, the magic is rolling. It really is. Lots and lots of Facebook posts today, or text to me directly. And again, for anyone that wants to get a hold of me, the best way to get in touch is through Skype. It operates in real time. Facebook texting is very, very slow. And when I have 20 or 30 texts sitting there, it's different when you only have one or two. You click it open and type your thing out, but that's not the case with me. I have a lot of those all the time. It's much faster and much easier to do that in Skype in real time. Plus, we have chat groups as well, and lots of others on the same page with you, me, and everybody that you can ask questions of. And not only that, you get to experience the victories that others have been experiencing through their own awakening and through their own hammer down on the system. And when you get to a certain point, you start noticing that your actual causal ability is returning, and you change the world, quite literally. It's quite something. It's really cool, and I just want, for me, it's my wish for everyone to see that for themselves, and it's quite something. All right, so we got Ninja coming in here, and we got Ouija, and I know Darren is, I wanted him to share a bit more of the experience he had yesterday, so I'm going to get his mic open as well. But Ninja, how are you doing?
Hi, Kate. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, brilliant. I think we have a Skype lag, so if I'm jumping on toes, forgive me, but you had a big delay answering me just then. Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. Lovely, lovely, lovely sunny weather the last couple of days. Still going strong, enjoying that. I want to, while I can, because my connection's often very shaky and I usually end up falling over. Not literally. I'm going to share something that was posted on my Facebook by one of the...
Ninja,
he said,
yeah, Ninja, hang on, you were breaking up a lot there. We got to share.
What, am I breaking up already?
Cleaning up, and guys, I'm going to have to ask you to mute on your end because there's some noises going on. Ninja, yeah, it was fine up until you started talking about the post. So why don't you share the Facebook? We got the Facebook post part why don't you share what you said after that? So just talk about the post.
Okay, gotcha. So, John Carroll, which is not using a legal name, this is his name. He understands who he is. He knows exactly what the story is. He used your I who shall not be legally named paperwork to put into the court through the window to the clerk of the court. He obtained a compliment slip, date-stamped receipt from the Procurator Fiscal, because this is Scotland. And all of this was because he had been offered a court date, which obviously he had no intention of attending. And since putting that in, the court date was cancelled. Love, don't we?
Okay, say that. Ninja, you were breaking up for that last bit. So he got the compliment note, and what happened after that? Oh, we just lost her. Yeah, go figure. That's kind of how it works, right, guys? Anyway, perhaps Ninja, I can get Ninja to share the Facebook post itself, and I'm not sure if it's in one of the rooms here. Let me just, I'll text her direct. One sec. Hey, can you copy paste that post? That way I can read it. And because Ninja's connection's always iffy at best. So, again, I love sharing great news with people. That's the way it works. That's one of the things too with Richard who has popped on, Borin who was on, and Janet, so many others that know exactly they know exactly who they are, and I just Darren, so many others. When you come on, it's not important that I talk about these things, these same things that I've talked about for a very long time. What is important to me, and only important to me, is that others get it, they see it, and then they share what they're experiencing, so that it's not just me saying it, not just me experiencing it. The magic for me, the real magic is going, isn't that cool to others? Told you, isn't that neat? And they're going, yeah, this is cool. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from those that have experienced these things, and they're watching their worlds and universes literally change. And on that note, let's bring Uichi and Darren in here, and see what's on. Well, I know what's on your mind, Darren, but Uichi, what have we got going with you?
Hello. Well, cool, actually. Balancing. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a little bit, I've been talking a lot, so my voice is changing. That's good.
Yeah, mine too. It just seems to be getting deeper and more confusing for people. It's all good.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of questions, like, are you okay? Are you with this intonation? And then I have to talk, like, okay, I don't have to talk, but I want to explain a bit. And then there is a kind of relief, and I'm relieved by that as well. So I'm getting closer into connections, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not so that angry anymore. I have my phases, moon cycles, probably. I don't know. I know, of course, but yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, yeah. It takes a bit of time, and we all have a lot of things that we've experienced, and these things need a little bit of working through to come to terms with. The easiest way I found to deal with things was I made an idiot of myself in many, many ways, and I'm okay with that because now getting past that, I can go, gotcha. You got to get over yourself.
Well,
that's the game.
But it's very easy, It's really motivating me to open up even more when I am in conversation on the street, really just on the street with people and shops and da-da-da-da-da. And like, there's so much support. I feel the change. I feel the energy. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely it is. And the more you see, the more, and that helps out. That's where you destroy the ego too, because the ego cannot deny what is presented to it in the magical sense. And when you start seeing it, you go, it's the second one. It's always the second step that I urge people to take. So, and that's exactly what Darren was talking a little bit about last night. And I didn't want to roll the full 3 hours last night because it's already a bit of a marathon on Tuesdays for me as is. But I asked Darren afterwards if he would come on and share the experience from yesterday, just to show how profound this shift is. The shift is hitting the fan, boys and girls.
Namaste.
Aloha.
Aloha. It is it. There's nothing else to say about it, except for sharing and witnessing all the opportunities out there that present the truth. And that's what happened 420. Well, it's happening every day, but 420 was amazing. Got to talk to a lot of people and let them know that it was more than just legalizing pot or medicine, whatever they want to call it. I told them that it was more about realizing you do not need to apply. And it was beautiful. It was embraced. I took the answer to the universal question of 42, which so happened to land on 420. And by 4:20 p.m., I handed out the last copy. I simply asked everyone, do you read? Do you look for freedom? Do you realize it's within you? Do you want freedom? Are you afraid of it? And it was beautiful, because everyone I approached and spoke to like that, just posed questions, never told them nothing. They'd take it, and at least one or two behind or around would say, I heard you, I want a copy. And that in itself was far greater than jumping up and down on a soapbox.
And the action is the bliss, right?
Yeah, because it was pure intent.
And we are, en masse, tired of the nonsense and hungry for truth, and this is exactly what's going exponential. There was a great post on my Facebook today, Darren, you'd love it. A little video where I guess the first domino was maybe about 3 inches tall, and the last one at the end of the line, there wasn't many of them, but the last one I think was probably about 8 feet tall and a foot thick. And the guy hit the little domino, and in sequence had them scaled. And it was that one little domino that when he hit it, it went through the sequence, and this 4 foot wide monster fell at the other end. That's the power we all wield. You are that crazy powerful. One little choice, and the whole world changes. And it's as simple as making a choice. I've used the Songwriter Cafe as an example of making choices. Look at the pivotal points in your life that you made a choice to do something, and then look at all the effect that you had on the people around you. It could be as simple as something as getting married. There's entire different universes that intertwine there. But I'll tell you, when I got the idea to do the Songwriter Cafe many years back now, I had no idea what was going to come out of it. But at the end of it was an 8-year run. At the end of it, the number of lives that were touched within it, people meeting at it, and children came out of it. More than 50 CDs that people would have made came out of it. And that's the power of one choice that we all make. And that's that little domino that takes out the monster, and it shows the greater effect. And when you start, at least my lesson on this one was, in as much as the Songwriter Cafe was something that I wanted to do because I love playing, I love sharing original and showing people how powerful they are in their own original music by setting this venue up. One of the things that I learned very quickly, I've seen this my whole life, but when it really sinks in is when you're making choices that benefit all, the effect that you wield from your causal position of that choice is monstrous.
Yes, huge. Things shift in people immediately. Leading up to 420, within 2 days of setting the intent of sharing that truth at 420, 5 individuals, all caught up in the fear like we all have been, and then within hours, minutes for some, 20 minutes for one, of simply sharing the truth that it goes back to you. It goes within. There is no out. They accepted that truth for themselves. They are hungry for the truth. They just don't need your ego involved. Because if you've got people in your world that are not getting it, look in the mirror and ask your ego if you're serving yourself or all. Are you looking to be the right one? See, I've been telling you, or are you simply sharing a truth that you would like to bump into as a bubble into another bubble that shares that truth? Because if you try to impose, you're trespassing. If you try to get them to hear you, you're trespassing. If you simply be and share as you're guided to, you will witness the truth. Because 420, after those 5 individuals, was icing on the cake. And then I walked from there, at the end of it all, into a brother who saw me a half block away, started smiling, and we walked right up to each other. And I can guarantee you, 90% of you would have saw a drunken Indian. Because of your ego. I saw a brother who saw me. He proved. He delivered the experience. He delivered the affirmation that the 42nd truth that left my hand into another's confirmed. He accepts no name. He read 3 paragraphs before we started communicating of the truth. Babylon is fallen. His face said it all. He'd been waiting. Many of your brothers and sisters do not have internet access. Yet they await this truth because his emotional body lit up with tears of joy. As I shared with Kate that day, I've been waiting to not feel alone in this truth. He waits no more. Spirit spoke to me. Everything that he was thinking, all his doubts, his answers came from my mouth. I did not know this brother, and I didn't have his truth. I just redirected his truth to him. Everything he said, the answers came out of his mouth. I added icing to it, affirmations that he has known the whole time. He said, call me crazy, but I know who you are. And the correct response, the only response, is, how's it feel, God? How's it feel? More tears of joy. I left directly after our exchange, walked down the street, saw everybody's drunken Indian. He wasn't that drunk. Began to communicate. This being's lost his mom and dad, his wife, 2 separate drunken driving incidents, all in the last month. Upon receiving $280,000 from the pay you off for the assault we caused, the residential school payoff that his mother received and never got to live to spend a nickel of it. He knew he couldn't spend a nickel of that money. He didn't even have words to describe that money until I said whore. And he was bang on. Everything that came from his mouth was exactly how Kate said the soul speaks to us. Break the contract. $280,000. Split it in half and gave it away to charity. Poor bugger. And I use that word for the literal. A week later, falls, bashes his teeth out. He even knows he fell to the drink because of all the shit that's happened to him. Lost his top teeth because he did what he did with that money that he inherited because his mother trusted him. Lost his family. The rest of his family want nothing to do with him. He's alone. In his state, he's lost his apartment. Pulled out $1.85 out of his pocket to hand over to his friends so they could go get a bottle to share. And I said, "What's your name?" Actually, no. What do you call yourself? He says, "Right now I'm calling myself the champ because I stand alone." We embraced, and I said, "You are a champ." And he goes, "I know, you are." He says, "All I can do is walk with a smile on my face and just go through and know that this is all bullshit and they're not fucking enslaving me anymore." And he just went off for a 5-minute tangent, released. I directed him into himself because he affirmed everything he knows as a spirit, and he lit right up, and he just looked at me and said, "I may not drink after this," and we parted ways. I didn't know his name, but he calls himself the champ.
Takes one to know one, doesn't it?
It was beautiful, beautiful. And it was just affirmation of the intent. That is consciousness saturation right there. Because that man has no access to the internet, no way of knowing anything, never read any legal books. Just being.
Now let me illustrate the power you all wield. Because when I started out my own little journey here, what a fun ride. Anyway, just listening to what you were saying, Darren, and this was an individual you had not met before. And of course, I had not met, and there was absolutely no means in terms of internet to have ever interfaced with this individual in a literal one-on-one sense. I think that's pretty fair to say. And given that, you're out in British Columbia, I'm over in the area called Ontario, so we're talking about 3,000 plus kilometers away. And what you just described is exactly the seed that I speak of, that we all can plant. And this is when you do something with everyone in mind. I've often contested, people that work the free man legal nonsense. Yes, we had to do this work to uncover it. That was our roles to do this. But I never ever once expected, and I realized this very early on, the gentleman, the champ that you bumped into, would not likely have access to the UPU or Uniform Commercial Code or Black's Law dictionaries or internet or any of these things. Those are my goals. One of the things that always drove home with me was this is what I'm doing can be absolutely powerful or absolutely useless, depending on the perspective I take it from. So my attitude was simply this. I had to, with the gifts that I have, we all have our gifts, with the gifts that I have in my particular game piece, this was my job to do. So I took this as my job for all. It's like think of it as a universal employment program, right? We all come with a very specific thing to do. And it's that thing that you're just, and you know this, it's just something you're good at. It's like some kids are great on BMX bikes and flip them over. I look at that and go, no, not my thing. But I'll write a song for you, okay? So that's my silly spiritual trick. But here we go. When I sat down to write Babylon Has Fallen, to make a summation of things, not knowing who this individual is, listening to what you were saying, I could experience every moment. And here is an individual point of consciousness that I have, up to this point, did not know existed. And the thoughts that were conveyed through what I've been through and able to share was transmuted through everything to get to your hands and finally into his. So don't tell me, anyone, don't ever tell me you can't change your life with a thought. And that, for me, is the most profound thing. And that's exactly what it felt like with the Songwriter Cafe. When you saw people coming into their own power and you just know in your own heart that you might have played a little role in that. It's not about being, this is about making everyone the star in their own movie. He's the champ in his movie. I'm the champ in mine, and you're the champ in yours. We are the champions. Let's get shoulder to shoulder on this. But to sit here listening to what you were saying, Darren, is very, very profound and very humbling.
It is. Like just being present. Like there's a Rumi poem, Those Who Say Words with My Mouth. I tell you, in that moment I was sharing with that 42nd piece of paper, and that being, the living soul that was been waiting for it, stuff was coming out of my mouth. There's no way I could pull or even determine by the time I've spent with the guy. It came through spirit. It was his spirit. Our souls met. We witnessed and accepted each other. We all know.
Totally. And it's just amazing to sit back here and listen to so many beautiful things that people are experiencing, and knowing that I get to be a part of it, to do it with people, not for them, to do it with.
That's why I love it. I love being God, and it's not God. It's dog. I love being a dog. I love being a tree. I love being I love accepting individual beings, living souls, as that. And I'll deliver proof right on this radio show. I shared a story or shared some words in regards to our brothers in the business. 3 days later, Colleen comes on air and shares an encounter of exactly how we shall treat each other, no matter our definitions accepted and placed upon ourselves. 2 days before Kate plays her music for us, got 2 days of it, asked to hear her music. I didn't want to go to the website and just listen to it. I wanted to hear her music. I love the fact that she pulled a song out of the air in 15 minutes and recorded it in an hour, because that's true. I love the fact that there is no cover song on my lips. Yeah, I can do a few, but they're not mine. That's the truth. I don't care if you know 10,000 songs. If you don't have one of your own, too bad for you, Mr. Magoo.
Very true.
5 days before I wanted to hear Kate taking a break. Because the table can be. It's all of ours. And what's Tracy do? You don't have to say another word. And Kate goes, fuck yeah. That's all I need to hear. Break time, no matter what the circumstances. But
breathe in space. Breathe in space.
I don't claim none of it. I just see truth in what, potentials can be. The wish is granted. Wish it upon another and enjoy. Or enjoy, your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you. I love y'all.
Mirror, mirror. I have that post,
mirror,
by
mirror.
the way. If you want to hear, here's another one. This is the one that Ninja was talking about from John Carroll. The proposed court date was canceled after man puts I who shall not be legally named into the court system. Well done, John. Court citation handed back with ass-kicking paperwork. Court date canceled. Fact. Wakey, wakey. Still chuckles that the fiscal gave me a with compliments slip. So we got handed back, not only to get the paperwork handed back. This is the power of what's happening in the awakening, boys and girls, and I really need you to get the ethereal on this. This is not the paperwork. This is the fact that John knows who the hell he is. This is the fact that he understood all of the concepts contained within it. It wasn't what was on the paper. The paper's not going to save anyone or anything. The paper is merely the conveyance to say, I know who I am. You want to play with me? I come to the table with all my dragons. You want to play? Now know you're powerless. And this is the power that if there's anything I've been trying to drill home, it's not in the paperwork. The power and the gunpowder of that is you. When you get it. And this is the hard part for it. And it took me a while, so don't think that I'm any different, okay? It took me a while to go, did that really happen? Did that really do what I think it did? And then that beautiful higher self says, yeah, bitch, get on it. Have some fun. And that's really what it boils down to. And when you fully get what I'm saying here, everything that we have unpeeled in the system, like I said, I've only been in this game for, 4 years as far as truth movement or whatever. But one of the things I noticed right out of the gate, pretty much since, let's say the judge bows to sovereign. I mean, even before that. But that's really one of the pivotal points for me that I can illustrate to others. It's when you're asking yourself that question, did that really happen? That's never happened before, has it? And no, it hadn't. Not on video anyway. This likely happened somewhere else. But it manifested on video that day, and as far as I know, it's the only video in existence of a judge bowing anywhere in a courtroom. So, well done. You're famous, Mr. Magi Straight. But anyway, this is the when you stand in this truth of self, when you really start to get the idea that you are in fact God and part of all of that creation, this is where the magic starts to show up, and it shows up more and more with the more responsibility you take for yourself. See, the ego cannot take responsibility. The ego is all about blame, right? So if there's anything in you still looking outside of yourself to blame, something outside of you, that's the thing you need to look at to bring it home and go, wait a minute, I was in that dance. What role is it? What choice did I make in that role to play that role? And when you spot that, that's when it blows. That's when it goes, okay, that's why that happened. And then you can choose at that point, is it something I would do again or something I would not do again? And once you make that choice, you found your truth. So with this, what Darren's been talking about, and with what was just shared there with John, there is I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but there is it looks like a little YouTube video. If I can get an MP3, depending on what it is, if I can get an MP3 of it, I'll pop that on tonight on tonight's show. But I do, I just want people to understand this. The system layers have been peeled back, and once they're peeled, they're gone, never to return. So think of this as layers of protection the system had for itself, that every time a truth was unveiled that peeled that layer back, it was gone forever. And what we're dealing with now is a system that is so bare-ass naked. The Emperor is fully naked right now. And the instant someone knows who they are, and I mean really knows who they are, and just gets the concept that all things attached to a legal name and registration are pure fraud, you don't have to do anything other than that. Remember, this is about being first. Ego says do and have. Spirit says be. And only when you return to the state of being, and you'll only get that within yourself, spending the time with yourself, and fully trusting yourself. It's not about trusting me or anybody. This is, you got to trust yourself. Trust no one. The only one you can trust is you. This is why on anything that I write, music or otherwise, there are no copyrights. That's for fiction land. Because if a truth, it's very simple. If a truth is a truth, who the hell can claim it? Well, we all can. So how are you going to copyright that? And I'll tell you, if you're going to copyright it, what you're doing is you're taking it away from the rest of creation. And that was another one I figured out quite a while back. There's nothing copy about me. I'm not a copycat. I am cat. That's what I do. Speaking of dogs, I'm cat, right? So anyway, the power is in you. And here it is again. So this is me giving a spiritual standing ovation to John Carroll. Beautiful, beautiful work, John. I've known John for a while.
Yeah, it's freedom, isn't it? Freedom, the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here it is in a nutshell. One more time. Proposed court date was canceled after man puts I who shall not be legally named into the court system. Well done, John. Court citation handed back with ass-kicking paperwork. Court date canceled. Fact. And not only that, there was a compliment slip with compliments. Have a nice day.
Oh, yeah, there's a compliment slip.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you know who you are.
Yeah, much more stronger than any 33rd degree certificate can get you.
That's right. With compliments, God.
No. They're all listening, Kate. They're all listening. It's awesome. Yeah, it was really awesome with handing out that truth. The power of the truth is something else to behold. It was a heck of a great experience, 42 slips of paper carrying such energy. I had 3 individuals who never even got to see on it, what was on it, in it, about it, other than my questions. And the 3 of them, as that paper approached their hand, their faces began to contort. And only one actually held it. One actually started to crumple it before it even was fully in their hand. And the other one just wanted absolutely nothing to do with it and couldn't get away from me fast enough. One said, I have my own God. I was like, ooh, well, your God doesn't like truth. I better get out of here. The second one says, I'm a Wiccan wizard. I don't need this. I went, oh, truth don't like you either. And the last one, I just giggled. You know, that's the power of the truth. Especially when you don't claim it. Get the I in it. I'm telling you, folks, the I am delivers you. But when you grab that I and bend it into you, you'll see me. You'll see that drunken Indian. You'll see that one that just can't get it. You'll be free of all of it. More importantly, the lies that you create in your own head. It's a really wonderful game.
It is.
As the wizard reflects the weathers, the wizard's mood reflects the weather.
Well, here's a question for you, for everybody. If I look up in the sky, and we're all standing around, and we're all looking up in the sky, and I make the statement, the truth, the sky is blue. Let's just say it is that day. The sky is blue. Would you use those same words to describe that same truth? I would happen to agree that we'd all look at the sky and it's blue, and we go, the sky is blue. Yeah, the sky is blue. Everyone's saying the same thing. So who owns the copyright to the sky blue? words, letters, and sigils. We all do. That's what truth is. And that's what, in layman's terms, what these documents are, and why nothing I do will ever be copyright. Because if the concept is true, let's take Babylon has fallen in the same light as the sky is blue. That being a truth, whatever is contained in that, if it resonates with you, then it's yours. So who can claim it? Well, we all can. That's the irony of this. Truth, regardless of how you describe it. If you would use the same words that I did, writing it out to get that same concept, whose words are they? They're ours. I cannot claim anything other than observing truth. I just use these words to describe it. If they work for you, then whose words are they? Well, then they're yours. You would use the same words to describe the sky as blue as I would. So who owns the statement the sky is blue? We all do. Truth simply is. That's why nothing I do will ever be copyrighted or faked or anything. If it's something that works within your own heart and your own realm, and it makes sense and it resonates, and it's said the way that you would say it and share it with someone else, then it belongs to all of us. That's why early on in the game, my attitude was, I cannot sell things like this. Truth is free to all. And I learned early on that only those that were willing to share completely. You know, you got these sites. Oh, well, we've got this paperwork. It'll cost you $160 to get you out of this court deal, and it'll cost you $200 for any of these sites. I just look at them and go, no thanks. You're trying to sell something that belongs to everybody. That makes you a thief in my books. Sorry. That's like a neighbor walking up to your driveway, putting a for sale sign on your car with their phone number on it. How would you like your neighbor? Well, that's how I like my, quote, neighbors, unquote, that like to do that with truth. It belongs to everybody. Truth is not for sale, and neither am I. Easy peasy.
Soul contract.
Yeah. You can't put a price tag on priceless.
Yeah. Well, how much do you charge for God? That's what I tell all the healers. Try to tell me I'm a healer. Something comes back to me as far as a physical dollar or whatever. It's nothing compared to watch that smile, that inner smile reside on the face that it had no place for. Go out and be a bubble. Last sharing I exchanged, no money was exchanged. Nothing. I got to give you something. Well, you could. I'll leave that between you and God. Well, you got to do it for something. Well, I did.
I did.
A smile on your face.
Yeah, I got a smile out of it. Paid in full.
Yeah, totally. I said, do I have to go get a mirror for you? It's your lines around your mouth are gone, around your eyes are gone. You got color to your skin, and now you're going to go out in the world. Geez, that's rough. I didn't gain a thing. At all. I said, if you're out in front of me by a half hour, I'm going to know it. If you're in that space and holding that energy and casting it out as you walk through the crowd, I'm going to know it. I'm going to look for you. Because it doesn't feel like it would have felt if there wasn't that energy present.
Totally agree. And I do get asked questions as to what paperwork to send. I've had a few people ask me that today. For me, and I hate calling it paperwork. I prefer to call it their seeds. Plant as many seeds as you want. If you want a bountiful harvest with full variety, plant them all. They'll all take root. And again, it's not the paperwork, it's you. Whatever you're going to send in, here's the prerequisite. You have to read it, and you have to get it. You have to understand it. It has to have that, oh my God, aha moment in it. Once you have the aha, you've got the gunpowder. Now you can put that one aside and put that in your fully charged grenade, if you will, right, for lack of a better way to describe this. So start stacking up your grenades. And here's the thing about once you read, let's say, did you know you're a criminal or attention law enforcement? When you read through that and understand that everything in it is a statement of fact and truth, once you get the aha moments for all of it, that paperwork or that piece of paper that filled with those little squiggly lines called letters and numbers and stuff, that is now a permanently, infinitely filled truth for you. And it's a never-ending supply of power in that. It's like having an infinite ammo belt. It doesn't matter how many times you fire that same bullet off, it always recharges itself. So, and Matt, I just wanted to mention that Maggie, I've got you in here. I've got Lynn in here. Area code 253, I should know that, and I have Borean in here as well. And I would really love Darren for, everybody, of course, but Borean hasn't been on the table too much, and I know his Skype is not always the best. But, guys,
that's why I love
drive.
That's why I loved it, Kate. Yeah, I loved it. I stepped back from the table for a few days, tried to get in, but, I mean, really, the spaces get filled with these beautiful souls that actually step in. You know, they're sharing.
Good morning, guys.
Happy New now.
Or at least this morning for me. Hey,
change that frequency.
I'm in slight disagreement with something that was said earlier. And that was along the lines of talking about music and, having originals and covers. And music is the same, just like Kate's writings, where even though somebody else may have wrote this song, but if it resonates with you, you can make it your own. And when I play a cover, go ahead.
I was just going to completely agree with you. That was one of the reasons why in my repertoire I might have half a dozen cover songs that I will play because I could make them mine. And you're absolutely right on the money. That's why I became the original writer, because although a lot of the songs I love, my vocal range just never suited it, so that kind of forced me into the original thing. I came into this music thing kicking and screaming, so don't be putting any accolades on that. I learned to play rhythm.
It's okay.
I set no limits upon the statement.
No, I know, Darren. I know you did.
I never said no right or wrong. I just said there's no right and no wrong, just an opportunity for everyone to sing their song.
Yeah, what Borean's done here is added that beautiful layer of, if you can make it yours. This is the same thing I'm saying about the documents. Yeah. If you can make them yours, sing the fucking song.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is why art is so powerful, and while art is so beautiful, is because we do make it our own. Just because it was another being that created it, if it resonates with you, it becomes yours as well. Absolutely.
Certainly. Because
it is
frequency that you recognize.
It is you.
Accept, right?
Yeah.
If it's a frequency that doesn't fall in line with you, it's not accepted. As soon as you accept it, you'll hear it. A really good example is the rap. I did not enjoy rap or hip-hop or dance music. And then when I removed the dislike, the hate, the separation I created within, all of a sudden, I'm finding music in those genres that I love.
Tupac. Yeah.
Across the board, like people that I know and people on the street. It just across the board. But it was my limits that I had to create.
Beautiful.
That created that separation, right? I had to have that time in not liking it. Right? It didn't have to be, but it was a path that led me to a place of greater appreciation for the being creating it. And there's plenty of stuff out there that I won't listen to because it's carrying frequencies and energies that really do not serve my brothers and sisters or the children. That's the only thing that prevents me from listening to anything.
Yep, jump in.
Hello, Kate?
Hello.
Yes, Kate, this is Amy. I'm me, my first-time caller, and I called into Mike's show, The Dreaming Show, on the 18th, and I'm just so happy to be at the Emerald Table, as I shared there. And, Kate, you're a bad girl, and I am just so glad to be with you all at the Emerald Table where I belong. And, Darren, I always enjoy everything that you share, everyone. I learn and I grow. And I just wanted to say that today, the discussion on music and the truth, I am a former law enforcement officer. I worked civil division for many years. I am also an ex-Jehovah's Witness of over 19 years. And I have found the truth at this table, the truth that got me involved in those things. Earlier on, I thought I could change the world. There had been so many pains in my life as a child. So by the time I was 19, I had a gun on my hip and a 9-inch pinch, as you can say, penis extension against my left thigh. And I got involved in law enforcement, and as I said, I saw that they didn't have answers. I began to understand that my religion did not have answers. I began to see, I looked at the faces in the courtrooms. I watched the judges. I knew their personal lives. I knew the channels that we law enforcement officers could go to that the public could not hear. And I have so much to share, I think, to bring to the table about the inside. And the just anyway, since that time, how I've found my way to the truth. Jehovah's Witnesses call their religion the truth, and they call each other the friends. And I have found my friends, and I've found the truth, and I wrote my letter in 1995, separating myself from them. It's called a disassociation letter. And what I've learned is that unless you leave anything of your own accord, and then you earned your way out, as I did. I saw so many that would leave the witnesses, get put out, and then they'd come back. Why? Because they never taught themselves anything. They continued to believe what they had been taught under that tutelage, and they felt somehow as that they were not worthy of it, of keeping the standard. But what I've learned, no matter whether it's the legalistic approach to things, the only law is common law. The only law is the law of the people. And I saw when crisis struck, no matter what people believed, no matter how much money they had in the bank, there was nothing there. There was no support. Everything collapsed. So today, I have not been an ID carrier since 2009. I no longer eat meat. I don't believe in marriage. After having been married for many, many years, I know now that it has nothing whatsoever to do with love. I know I'm immortal. I can actually sleep in now after having been a Jehovah's Witness for many years and Bible thumping for over 40 hours a week, working a full-time job, raising 2 children, being a wife, taking care of my home and lawn. And so now I share, knowing that religiocosis, chosenitis, as you call it, Kate, when the crisis comes, I saw the faces in the congregation, and I saw the emptiness of not having any answers. And they were still dying and being sick and taking medications and drugs and believing everything that was handed down from that Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And I saw it on the church and the religious faces, and I continue to see it. They have no answers. This world needs us. It needs this Emerald Table. So I'm proud to be a part of it. And
thank you so much.
Amy, Amy, I just want to jump in here real quick. Then you guys go to town. Amy, about fucking time you showed up. You know how long I've been waiting for you.
My sister.
Thank you, Amy.
Means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Been waiting for you for a long time, honey.
Thank you.
Because your journey, the strengths you have, the power of your intent, oh my goodness, it's going to unfold within you.
Thank you.
Oh.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Real sister.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for pretty much everyone at this table. We've been waiting for you for a long time, hon. And
it's gonna flip into love. Yay! Holla holla.
This is what it is to come together. And you've heard my rants as far as the 9mm penis extensions and all the rest of it. It's the whole get rid of the program, guys. I can see you. Don't buy their lies. And just to hear what you shared today, the seed you just planted universally was that little 3-inch domino that just knocked down the walls of Jericho. Thank you for pushing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I knew I wanted to be a part of this energy at this table. Beautiful. I still get nervous. Believe it or not, Kate. And
I know. You're cute, Lynn. I know. It's all good, hon.
I forget to acknowledge everybody else at the table. My apologies, but yeah. So this is me being more aware of everybody there and saying, hey, yo, I love you all, and thank you. Yeah. Oh, Darren speaking made me really giggle a lot when he said, Mr. Magoo. I will say, nighty poo, Magoo, or what's new, Magoo. I forget to mention a lot of the non-coincidences that I have. Because, well, I'm me. And really silly. But anyway, yes, I love you.
Thank you. Can I read something and
so
then
much.
I'm going to leave? Or what's the idea?
Sure, we should go ahead and knock yourself. It's an open table. This is what we do this for. We share equally at this table. There are no.
But I ask permission anyway.
You don't need to ask for permission. You're God.
Just wedge your light in, and you'll get in. You gotta wedge your light in, or else you can't get in.
I respect all of you. That's why. Okay, this is me with the red book again, but then it's Appendix C. It's called. There's no page number here. Oh yeah, 371. The following is an entry from Black Book 5, which gives the preliminary sketch of cosmology of Septem Sermones, 16:1-16. The force of the god is frightful. You shall experience even more of it. You are in the second age. The first age has been overcome. This is the age of the rulership of the sun, whom you call the frog god. A third age will follow, the age of appointment and harmonious power. My soul, where did you go? Did you go to the animals? I bid the above with the below. I bid God and animal. Something in me is part animal, something part God, and a third part human. Below you, serpent, within you, man, and above you, God. Beyond the serpent comes the phallus, then the earth, then the moon, and finally the coldness and emptiness of outer space. Above you comes the dove of the celestial soul, in which love and foresight are united, just as poison and shrewdness are united in the serpent. Shrewdness is the devil's understanding, which always detects smaller things and finds chinks where you suspect none. If I am not conjoined through the uniting of the below and the above, I break down in three parts. The serpent, and in that or some other animal form I roam, living nature daimonically, arousing fear and longing. The human soul, living forever within you. The celestial soul, as such dwelling with the gods, far from you and unknown to you, appearing in the form of a bird. Each of these parts, then, is independent. Beyond me stands the celestial mother. Its counterpart is the phallus. Its mother is the earth. Its goal is the heavenly mother. The celestial mother is the daughter of the celestial world. Its counterpart is the earth. The celestial mother is illuminated through the spiritual sun. Its counterpart is the moon. And just as the moon is the crossing to the depth of space, the spiritual sun is the crossing to the pleroma, the upper world of fullness. The moon is the God's eye of emptiness, just as the sun is the God's eye of fullness. The moon that you see is the symbol, just as the sun that you see. Sun and moon, that is, their symbols are gods. There are still other gods. Their symbols are the planets. The celestial mother is a demon among the order of the gods, an inhabitant of the heavenly world. The gods are favorable and unfavorable, impersonal, the soul of stars, influences, forces, grandfathers of souls, rulers in the heavenly world, both in space and in force. They are neither dangerous nor kind, strong, yet humble. Clarifications of the pleroma and of the eternal emptiness, configurations of the eternal qualities. Their number is immeasurably great and leads over to the one supreme fundamental, which contains all qualities in itself, and itself has none, or nothing and everything, the complete dissolution of man, death, and eternal life. Man becomes, through the principium individuationis, he strives for absolute individuality, through which he ever increasingly concentrates the absolute dissolution of the pleroma. Through this, he makes the pleroma the point that contains the greatest tension, and itself a shining star, immeasurably small, just as the pleroma is immeasurably great. The more concentrated the pleroma becomes, the stronger the star of the individual becomes. It is surrounded by shining clouds, a heavenly body in the making, comparable to a small sun. It emits fire. Therefore it's called blah Greek, just like the sun, which is also such a star, which is a god and grandfather of souls. The star of the individual is also like the sun, a god and grandfather of the souls. He is visible from time to time, just as I have described him. His light is blue, like that of a distant star. He is far out in space, cold and solitary, since he is beyond death. To attain individuality, we need a large share of death. Therefore it's called Ioete, and that's Greek again. Since just as an innumerable number of men rule the earth, so as countless numbers of stars and of gods rule the celestial world. To be sure, this God is the one who survives the death of man. To him from whom solitude is heaven, he goes to heaven. To him from whom it is hell, he goes to hell. Whoever does not follow the principium individuationis to its end becomes no God, since he cannot bear individuality. The dead who besiege us are souls who have not fulfilled the principium individuationis, or else they would have become distant stars, in so far as we do not fulfill it. The dead have a claim on us and besiege us, and we cannot escape them. There's an image. The god of the frogs or toads, the brainless, is the uniting of the Christian God with Satan. His nature is like the flame. He is like Eros, but a god. Eros is only a demon. The one God to whom worship is due is in the middle. I think this is the best point to end it. There is another paragraph, and I want to make an MP3 or something. And I think in the middle is the best to end anyways.
Well, that's it. It's walking the middle road. This is where the heaven, the abyss, and the underworld, as it was illustrated in that one naturalized video, I thought was a beautiful way to show it. We are walking in the abyss and slipping into the underworld and into heaven periodically, if you consider the sine wave. And what my feeling on it has been for a very long time is all I need to do is flat line right in the middle and see the good in the evil in the good, neutralize it, and carry forward. That is it. And that's, for me, discovering a truth and standing in it is a flat line. Anything other than that creates that up and down wave, the sine wave. So, again, in the mirror, when you speak of flatline in the physical sense, that's a body death. So when I see a flatline, that is spiritual life. So I'm literally, in the physical sense, the walking dead to this world, while I walk that middle road of the ethereal, right between the oil and the water, between the plasma and the material. And the less I shift, the more flat line I can maintain. And of course, for me, the flat line is the magnetic creation place to be, and that's where my reality shifts consistently and constantly. And there are many people that are finding their flat line, walk between worlds. That was the clue that the two spirits always were, and why they were slaughtered. Not anymore. You know who you are. You are all things.
Yeah, hey. Some say when heaven and earth separated, that's when time was created. I say heaven never left earth. Only man's perception of such a thing was created.
Yes. God day and God evening, everyone.
Indeed.
Happy New Now.
Happy New Now. I love that one.
Happy New Now.
Wow.
Yeah, just very powerful stuff today, guys. Amy, I'd love to hear some of the inside stuff, just to, again, this is your brethren in terms of system, that, and I will say that this show is heavily monitored, and I love the fact that it is. That's why I do it. I don't want to be talking to someone that's not listening, and this is about, this is why I said to you, Amy, I've been waiting for you to show up, because this has always been the fundamental within, knowing full well that there are so many beautiful souls. Somebody. Okay, that was on Maggie's line there. She must have had a call come in. Anyway, where was I? Derailed. Anyway, the whole thing here is, I've always known that it was very few within any of these organizations that were manipulating and controlling literally the hive mind. I know there are a lot, you're absolutely proof positive of this statement. There are beautiful souls within that have been, we all played the physical game, guys. There are no mulligans on this. Whatever game you played was yours to get out of. And for me, I played the music, construction, all the rest of those games to get to this point. So just a different road on the same path, same destination, same journey. So
and you didn't hear.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time talking today, because I'm in such a state of overwhelm with what I've been witnessing prior to the show and what's been going on here. But Amy, feel free if you want to share with your brethren some of the things, former brethren, some of the things that they might want to look at in terms of they're harming themselves and their own families and communities as a result. We're coming out from under this veil. We're all grown up. We can handle each other just fine. We get along. Just don't need anything other than that.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to hear intent ion from the inside of her experience, because I feel that her intentions, having the knowledge and the experience and the energies from that, would serve at this table. And
well, it nullifies.
Simple.
Yeah, it nullifies.
Because she's from the inside.
Right. Okay. And Amy, you have the power to nullify, and it's all about the whole idea of sharing. And that to me those are just layers that get peeled off in rapid fashion. And please feel free, Amy, share whatever you want or don't. It's entirely up. That's what this table is all about. It's complete free will choice. So if you want to share, great. If you don't, great. Doesn't matter. You're here. I'm just happy about that.
I will share, Kate. One thing I'd like to communicate is that many law enforcement officers, as I've heard here at the table, it's a job. It's a job. They were hiring. They recruited. They were paying more than the local factories, they took you in without, if you had a high school diploma. Oftentimes, that's how many people get in or did at one point when I did. And these are people coming from all walks of life. They have brothers and sisters and mothers and lovers and children that they care about, and they are totally unknowing as to what the system is, and they think that they're standing on the right side of the law, as I did. And I went out with my heart wide open, as many that I did see that came in and went through a police academy the same time that I did. They paid for our training, of course, and then we just went through the various training, the various phases. And through that, you know, having made many arrests, having served many criminal ejectment papers, I have also had to perform, I've had to put women out of their home and women and children in the snow, but I could not leave them. I've babysat their children until they got home from their jobs, and I've taken them to Department of Social Services, them and their children, on my patrol car. I have also refused to not repossess a very prominent person's in the community's car, his Cadillac, because of non-payment. And the sheriff himself called me and said, leave that car, stand down. I said, I will not stand down. I jacked the car, towed the car, locked the car up, and that's the kind of law enforcement officer that I was. They didn't fuck with me. Nobody ever has, and nobody ever will. And I did not know what I know now. But what I would like to say to everyone listening is that I was not alone. I am not alone. There are many on the inside that don't understand the game that they're in. And I would say those are usually the ones that are at the level of the street level, of course. And they're serving papers. And their hearts get broken every day. But as you said at the table many times, Kate, is you relegate it to I'm doing my job, which is why I left. I could not stay involved in anything because I saw, again, as with the Jehovah's Witnesses, I was involved in something I did not understand, and that was bigger than me, I thought at the time, and that really was the intention behind it was not what I thought. It was not to keep the peace. It was not to love everyone as with the Jehovah's Witnesses. No, I went to the door with the intention to change your beliefs because I thought I knew better. And I got into trouble with them as a result of that because one of the elders' wives was working with me one day, and I realized now that I had been put under their intention was to, well, she's worth keeping, but Amy's a wildcat. We need to do something about that girl. So what they decided to do was assign me with the elder sisters in the congregation, the elders' wives, and they were going to work on me, and so as to keep me. And they saw they couldn't do that because I would not only give the Jehovah's Witnesses literature, I would take their literature in return. And the sister said to me, she said, you can't take their literature. We have the truth. They don't. And I said, no, I don't feel that way. I feel that we may have a certain clarity or certain understanding of a certain part of it, more legalistic, of course, than love, more judgment than grace. But she really tried to discipline me, and I refused to take the discipline, and I continued to be a wildcat and continued to wear my hair the way I wanted to, and, I got into always in the elder's office, always on the carpet is what they called it. I've been on the carpet all of my life, and now I'm at the table.
Amy, and you call me a bad girl? I love it.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. And here's the magic line I love. Every time I get any sort of doubt and worrying about centering myself, I got duped. I can say that. I got duped. I got duped hardcore. I was sitting here last night after the show, and I was shaking my head going, oh, I got so good, right? And I take it with that heart, and that's exactly what all of us as far as I'm concerned, all of us have been duped. And to the
Yes.
degree that you accept that and go, okay, I get it. This is why I know the vast majority of the people on the inside are us.
Hey.
They are.
So kudos for
Thank you,
making
Amy.
it out of that. Whoops,
Thank you.
apologies.
And Kate, at the end of the Wizard of Oz, I do believe that when Dorothy poured the water that we know means truth upon the witch, her own minions celebrated their release. And
yes,
I
they
know,
did.
shoulder to shoulder, law
Shoulder to
enforcement
shoulder.
across the world will stand and will put their guns down when they learn this thing, which is so important, why we all must do what we have to do to get this out. And what I do is it in my donations? I have huge donations that go out to the Salvation Army and to what we call various thrift stores. I have handwritten, kateofgaia.wordpress.com, and put it in every pant, every shirt pocket, every coat, every blazer, every sock that I donate. Nothing goes out of here. Nothing. If I go and pee in the toilet, when I pee, because I do practice urine therapy, and it's the best thing ever happened to me in terms of recovering from lupus and them having given me a death sentence, I've turned my health around. Nobody can tell me a doggone thing, nothing about what I've proven to myself. And that's what I want to say to everybody. You must prove it to yourself. Darren's stories, the stories that we all have, that we share, they're all our stories. But you have to experience them your own way. And you must stand under what you've proven to yourself, because that's all you can stand on. That's all you can stand under.
Now, listen closely. This is what God talking sounds like. And you must write your own book of life. That's exactly what you're saying, Amy. This is your journey, and we've walked it alone for so long. And I've said many times, what we're doing now is we are all walking our own road, our own way, which means the name. That's the way or name of God. That's you. We are all walking our own way, but now walking our own way, all one, alone and all one at the same time. Perfect singularity.
Yes.
Amazing.
And I want to share one other thing what I'll say is, on my journey of earning my way out of everything that had duped me, and as I continue, I had to walk through the racist things of being a woman that looks black, but my father was Scotch-Irish. My mother, I was born on the reservation to a Native American black woman, and everyone has always wanted me to choose. And I've been unable to choose, because love is love. And I say now, whether we're law enforcement officers still, we can get out. Whether we're Jehovah's Witnesses still, we should get out. Whether we're married and not in love anymore, or it's not serving us anymore, or it's holding us back, holding us down, we're entrapped because of, as I've been, because he made the most money, and because the children had a certain standard of living, and I just wasn't ready. I prayed to the unknown God. I said, I don't know you, but I know that you are. Whatever has sustained me through everything I've ever gone through in my whole entire life, and that's been a hell of a whole lot, as with most of us, I stand today to say, I know everything that I've gone through, everything that I continue to go through, has landed me at this table where I belong. Not as a black woman, not as a woman, not as a person of any race, color, law enforcement officer, Christian, Muslim. Those are the things that have kept us apart, and they will continue to do that if we allow them. And so I say let the walls fall down. Fuck that. And let's move with the momentum that Kate has invited us to this table. Everyone listening with them at earshot. You know, You don't have to do it today, but you have to decide today that one day, and it won't be long, you're going to be able to, step by step, move in the direction that you intend to go. And it's with intention. And that's what has paved me. When I was still entrapped in a lot of these things, I knew I needed to make a move. I knew it was not the time. But the intention, I do believe, hastened and quickened that time. So get out of these boxes. And, it's not important. We're one people. We're one people. And that's all I wanted to share. And thank you all.
Oh, Amy, I got to tell you, it's like it's just nice to sit back and hear that coming out, because that's exactly what resonates.
Intention shared. Thank you.
Exactly. Just want to quickly jump in here. Paul had asked me to share a couple of things. One of the things that I love this now, because we've had a lot of people ask about this, and it's available. Yay! The Critical Mass Radio free app is now available for Android and iTunes. And to get that app, please visit criticalmassradio.co.uk and see under the chat box for the app links. Okay, so anyone that has Android or iPhone, iTunes, whatever, you can get Critical Mass, the app for criticalmassradio.co.uk for use on that device. And the best part is it's free, and that's the whole idea of what we're trying to do here at Critical Mass Radio. Not only are we setting the intention to set humanity free, it's it's there for free. As the way truth and all truth should be, for free for all. And so once it's free for all, then we have our free for all, and that's the game I'm after. But I do want to play the one thing, because it's so much easier. I'm just not really ever very good at doing this. We all do this together, so I like to I can only tell what they are by the time on these things. I'm not sure if that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this on for a sec, and then we can wrap things up. And I've got Mike wanting to come in as well, so I'll bring you in right after this, Michael. So that being said, here we go. Oops, that's a bit loud, isn't it? There we go. That's a bit more more ear-friendly. Anyway, there we go. So we'll be back after the other side of this. Mike, I'll open your mic now. But thank you, everyone, so much.
Their walls are falling. The momentum is now with us. It's our time now. At the most pivotal point in history is Critical Mass Radio, 24/7 Truth Radio. Help us to help you. Please go to www.criticalmassradio.co.uk and subscribe £1, £2 or £3 a month. The critical mass has been reached. We must come together. We must stand together. For ourselves, for each other, for our future generations. criticalmassradio.co.uk. Now, it's our turn.
Indeed, it is our turn, and everything that everyone does to make sure that this table gathers is reaching out to the universe in such an incredible way, and such a magnificent magnitude. It's huge. You got to know how powerful you are, and that's the joy of this table, is the things that we talk about here are things you already know, things you've already known and knew all along. And one of my favorite roles in this game is to prove you right, because you are God, and I know that. If I was God, and I am, well, that's kind of the game I'd play, where everyone is. So there you go. I do want to make note, too, we're going to be rolling out in about, I'd say about 8 minutes or so. Ben's coming on right after this at the top of the hour, so please stay tuned to criticalmassradio.co.uk. And Ben loves to share some tunes and share some ideas and thoughts and whatever. So Please hang in there, and don't forget, in approximately 4 hours, we're back at the round table, the Emerald Table, the gathering of the tour de force consciousness in reality. Once again, and we do that every night, and I stay this course until every brick of Jericho's walls, no stone left unturned, it comes down. And we have the game. That I know. There's not even room for even considering a doubt of a doubt. So there you go. That being said, Michael, how are you doing?
Aloha, beautiful. Clear and clear, eh, Kate?
Step by step, now by now.
No by no.
New by new. It's all good.
New by new, yes.
Yeah.
Every now.
Every breath. Every breath anew now is chosen. Yeah, I'd like to add to what Darren was sharing earlier about the brother out there with no internet, and this is something that I've been sharing quite recently about how how this actually works. When you're tuning into this level of the truth in the heart, you're not actually using this technology. We're still in a way using it. But what's clearer to me is that, for me, and I've always seen this as there's millions of us, billions of us who don't have so-called internet access, and that's okay, because this transmissions with the heart, this is reaching everyone. This is what you got to know, and this is what Kate and Darren and the Emerald Table and Seven, this is your intent, and this is what I feel your intent from here. And so just know that if I feel your intent, and I'm not tuned into I'm talking to the internet if you want to call it now, but I felt your intent heart to heart. This is why we know we're not limited by the technology we are using to communicate with each other at the moment. This is really heart soul essence to heart soul essence, and everyone is receiving this.
You're here. Absolutely. And I've said for a long time that the internet, the physical internet that we're using, is merely the effect of the causal nature of the all-mind being manifest in a physical sense. And what Darren described today, as many others have, is the transcendence beyond the internet, where those that are not have access to it is well, I could say irrelevant, but it's definitely a handy tool in the physical realm. But it really is irrelevant in the true spiritual nature. And these are the bounds and the boundaries that we are now transcending far and beyond. And you're seeing your own effects being created daily to even fathom what kind of energy was created at this table today. I've loved just being able to sit back and go, whoa. This is the shit, baby. This is where we're at. Is monumental. And
my wife was. I had the show playing, and you and Amy and Darren was sharing. My wife said, "I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm crying." She felt it, man. Beautiful. She was happy.
Well, that went straight to the core for me, and I meant what I said, Amy. Been waiting for you for a long time. We've had a few former law enforcement come on the show that are standing in the same way that you are. Today was more of a culmination of that coming together in such a beautiful way, and I love the fact that, well, my great-grandfather's Scottish, so in real essence, I've got the born in Ireland, but I got the Scottish-Irish mix as well. And it's as you were describing these things, I'm going, yep, talk about a two-spirit on multiple levels. So thank you for standing in the truth and sharing it. It's just it's beyond profound. I'm going to have a hard time for tonight to one up this. So please feel free to show up. Be greatly appreciated.
I would like to jump in just quickly and say kudos from, literally physically making it out of that. I have a family member that almost didn't make it out of the law enforcement, He worked in the worst of the worst, and almost died a couple of times. And he's out of it now. But also I wanted to say I do have the app, the Critical Mass app, on my phone, and it is very nice to have. Very quick, easy download for my phone from the Play Store. I highly recommend it. And that way you can listen anytime you like. But I enjoy the call-in, of course. So I just thought I'd mention that for everybody. If you're considering the app, don't consider it any longer. Just do it.
And I have to say, Amy, that the idea that you had with donating clothes and whatever, which I've done a lot of over the years, what a great idea, just to put things in pockets, because of course people are always going to search through the pockets. So that's a guaranteed someone's going to look. So that intention alone is beyond powerful. So there's another neat little thing that people can do. And at the same time, the intention of sharing things that you no longer need, that beautiful benevolent intention is already there. So you're taking that intention and putting it on steroids. So thank you so much for that beautiful idea. Just awesome.
Here.
And any last comments? We got about a minute and a half here until.
We were tuned in with 7 early in the dawn this morning, Kate, and it is beautiful. I'm telling you, the connections are here. This is always, we're just strengthening this connection as it's always been here, and that's our hearts. And this is the tune that is being amplified.
Stay the course, which is the heart of creation, of himself, herself, itself, the Trinity, the two becoming the one in the singularity. That is the child within. And wow, there's lots of babies getting born now, aren't there? The right kind. So much love to all of you guys. Again, don't forget, a little over 4 hours from now, we're back at the table. Normal time slot, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, midnight to 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. criticalmassradio.co.uk. I send the links out through Facebook, Skype, et cetera, and thank you to everyone that actually gets the work and word out there as well. Again, the work, Giuseppe, that you're doing with Lightworkers Media and others that are chipping in, so many. The gratitude I have for Paul and the crew at Critical Mass Radio, and of course the rest of the crew, that's us. Wow, it's the dominoes are falling in rapid fashion. So again, much love to everybody, and we'll catch you guys in a few hours. And we carry the torch, and this is an unyielding, relentless push forward. You're probably familiar with the expression of crossing the Rubicon, which basically means that once you cross the Rubicon, you are fully committed with no turning back. Here's the joy of this table. Not only did we cross the Rubicons of our own lives, we grabbed a hold of the river, and we're changing the course of rivers now. We are pushing the Rubicon.
Awesome.
That's yours. So there you go.
I just got this beautiful text I thought would be nice to end on. It says, "Oh, what a beautiful day, blessed be." How's that?
Works for me, hon. Works for me, and I'll leave it on that. Love you guys, and we'll like I said, catch you in a few hours, and we stay the course until we don't have to anymore, and we're just playing the way we should do. So much love, and we'll catch you guys in a few hours. Just got to find the rollout here if I could. Yeah, there it is. Take care, guys. See you soon, and thank you all for being God. Love you.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn. You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. Welcome to Outside the Box. Here's truly Kate of Gaia coming at you live somewhere in the universe. I am just a figment of your imagination. You are the only point of consciousness you can truly be aware of. Keep that in the back of your mind. It might help you solve a few problems. Yes, you're the one. Isn't that cool? Lots of really awesome questions and comments from people that are right up the exact road that we've been working so diligently to expose. And for that, I just love watching people stepping into their power. These simple little things that we talk about every single day, they are mind-numbingly simple, thus why they are so difficult to believe for especially the physical ego. It's kind of a all-worldly, doesn't really get the spiritual thing, right? So don't pay attention to it. It's kind of a waste of time, actually. I used to waste a lot of time with it, but I have to say, just based on the number of texts and whatnot through Facebook and Skype, that all the right questions are being asked from the perspective. I can't say the right perspective, and when I say right questions, the ones that really, really make sense to me as to where someone is and understanding that this entire system is gutted and powerless. Always was. Isn't that interesting? The only way that anyone can have their control taken over is if you say, hey, yeah, here's the wheel, knock yourself out. And if that wheel that you hand over to the car, let someone else drive for you in the system, ends up in a wreck, whose fault is it? So this is about taking back the command of your own helm, your own mind, if you will. And that takes a little bit of practice, you know. That's the thing about the ego. The ego wants the drive-through truth. It wants the drive-through answer. I want my, order of fries or chips or whatever in 30 seconds or less, or I'm going to be leaning on the horn getting all pissed off at you. And that is the one thing I think, well, myself anyway, and many of us have had to contend with to get to the point of just breathe, when you find something out that is so profound and so very real, you just want to see the effects immediately, right? It takes a bit of practice to get there, but make no mistake about it. Once you get your head in this zone, the effects show up rather quickly. I mean, if you can handle sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, maybe a day or two, you'd be fine. Some of these beautiful truth meals take a little longer to cook, and of course longer to sit down and eat and digest. A few references from people regarding court stuff and whatever, and again, coming from the right perspectives, as far as I can tell. The simple truth is that with a legal name, your consent to be it doesn't matter how much paper it's on. It was all done in fraud and deception. It's useless. Okay? It is not a contract. What makes it a contract is you and me. If we agree to it, that's what makes it a contract. So it's basically, if you saw a piece of paper that said you're going to hand over everything in your universe, all of your God-created powers, all everything you ever create, just hand it over to something or someone else. Just sign here. Would you sign? Of course not, but you did. You didn't know you were, but that's the whole problem. A contract is not a contract unless there is full agreement on both sides. And I'm talking in an ethereal sense. Excuse me. If someone goes out of their way to, and I've used this allegory many times. Let's say a group of us are sitting down at the table, and I ask everyone, do you want to play Monopoly? And everyone says, yeah, sure, let's play. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to take care of being the banker. I'm going to take care of who gets what game piece. I'm going to take care of all the little houses and hotels. I'm going to take care of all the property, and I'm going to control the dice as far as how far you're going to be able to move, and I will choose at random whenever I feel like it who goes to jail and who doesn't. And if at any point during the game someone is unhappy, I'm just going to change the rules to suit myself. Who wants to play? That's your system, in a nutshell. Time to take your game piece off the board, don't you think? I guess the new coined word of late is, are you a nameaholic? If you are, it's time to get off that, you know. And that's basically what humanity is. We're just a bunch of nameaholics thinking that we were a name, and we're not. And one of the other things I did want to cover today as well is the what's the best way to put this? The drip-by-drip way that mankind has been lulled into this state of full control, which, of course, is now returning to us with this awareness. I talked about, last night I was talking about, you know, parents or, parents that have children, say in a hospital and refusing to register the child, and moms and babies being held until that is taken care of, whether that's in a hospital or in a house or wherever, it doesn't matter. And for me, that looking at that, I'm watching them going, well, there's no way you're gonna be able to do that until you set yourself free by removing yourself from the name. Because what was overlooked during all of this, and I watched it and just like, guys, come on, you got to see what's going on here, please. One, if you go into a hospital or a house or whatever, if it's got a registered address, well, there's your Universal Postal Union address. There's the registrations of names. There's all of this. If the parents are connected to all of this, well, they're slaves, and they have no say in the matter. It's like someone going in to use a, quote, state hospital, unquote. That's already, you've surrendered to the ward, if you will, the ward of admiralty. That's why they call them hospital wards and prison wards. And it's really a simple thing when you see it. Mom and dad both being registered, having carried birth certificates. Now, this has been going on for quite a while, but really humanity in terms of birth certificates hasn't really been completely blanketed until the last, 60, 70, 80 years kind of thing, where some people were told to register, and of course it started to become a habit where everyone thought that they had to. So that was a very, very lulled sense of false security. Oh, well, everyone's registering their children, everyone's registering this, that, and the other. Where the simple truth of the matter is, once something is registered, you have completely given up all rights to it. Completely. By consent. Ignorant consent. So that's where the problem of ignorance of the law is not a defense of it. This is why you have to get out of that state of ignorance. Because once you're out of the state of ignorance, you see it for the fraud that it is, and then you call out the fraud. And this is what you do on a universal level. This is what you do on a spiritual level. This is not about filing paperwork. See, for me, I used to do that all the time. And I've watched it. I've been party to it and part of it. And in my own evolution, what I started to watch, excuse me, was the layer by layer of the system getting peeled back, right? So where was I going here? I just wanted to center this. Anyway, if you're part of the system, you cannot make claims. I screw somebody over, which is what the system has done. Beautiful game. If that was the intent, where you were told that it wasn't, well, that's just, there's no contract there. We're here to play games, right? So if we're not playing games on a fair and equal footing, there is no contract. And it really is as simple as stepping outside of that box. No name, no game. And that is the mind number that most people are starting to get now. I can't say most people don't get, but most people are starting to get it. And based on what I've been seeing over the last day or so, it's just been awesome. Now, I did want to do a little continuation from last night, as I always like to do, but I wanted to really start carrying these points through. I did a full breakdown on the latest essay called Babylon is Fallen. I did that on Saturday night, which will be, well, it's April 20th. Here, I believe it was. What's the date today? I don't even look at this stuff. It's 22nd, of course, Magic Days. You gotta love this. But anyway, Saturday No, it would 19th, I guess. Anyway, it was Saturday night, and I did a full breakdown on Babylon Has Fallen. For anyone that has any real questions, RE the system, I think that pretty much covers it. The Babylon Has Fallen is the literal culmination, and it's not as detailed as it could be. Really, it was just about getting the concepts, a summation of the concepts, to people that can get them on a very easy level. I wanted to write something that wasn't so far out of people's reality. The toughest reality that people have to accept is the level of duping that we've all experienced. Get over it. The ego just wants to keep fighting, right? You'll see that playing out in things like Freemen on the Land and sovereign citizen movements and whatnot. Me seeking vengeance. Gimmies, and that in and of itself is the trap of traps, because it keeps you in the snake eating its tail cycle. How did I describe it yesterday?